We are recently back from our first ever MSC cruise. We had heard so many different things from so many different people, we weren't sure what to expect.
There was a lot of sort of talk and chatter amongst people about what our first MSC experience would be like, and so we're here to sort of talk about what our preconceived ideas may have been or what we had heard from people who had cruised with them, and we'll tell you whether we agree with that or not.
Yeah, we're just going to go through a few common things that we heard from people before the cruise, and we're going to say true or false. That was our experience. Now keep in mind, our experience is based on this one ship, our only ship we've been on for MSC.
Out of North America.
Out of North America, so we have not tried MSC in Europe, which might be a little bit different. Of note for us, it was the ship with the largest capacity that we've ever sailed on.
Right.
So it was an experience for us to be with that many, because usually we choose slightly smaller ships.
We do.
So we were interested to see how that also played out with all the different things that we heard from all kinds of people.
Sure.
Seems that people either loved MSC or they were never going back, and we were very curious to find out why.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go through point by point. We're going to give you a true or false on this.
Okay.
So true or false? The food is bad. One of the common things that we heard. So what do you think of the food?
We've had a lot of people tell us they wouldn't sail MSC again because of the food, and our experience, that was not the case. I found the food to be extremely good. The main dining room, we had wonderful meals every single night, formal night. They had lobster tails with filet mignon on the menu. Lots of cruise lines don't offer that kind of meals anymore.
Yeah, one of my favorites, they had meatloaf. I know that's probably not your favorite, but that was a plus for me. Also found these selections on the buffet were varied and really good throughout the entire cruise. We always found something there. Everybody loves their pizza, so we had lots of their pizza.
Yes.
And they did have kind of like a North American burger, French fry area, but they had a lot of different varieties of food, which was really interesting to try.
I love seafood, and I found that I could always get a fresh catch of the day type of seafood throughout the cruise, which was lovely for me.
Yeah, I eat a lot of vegetarian dishes. I'm not big on seafood or meat, so I always found lots of vegetarian options as well, so that was available. There was also a kids section there. I'd say the only downside to, maybe there's two things about the food that were a little bit of a miss for me.
Okay.
One was that there was no other options at lunch other than the buffet. So some places, some cruise lines have, you can go to a burger place or a burrito place or a separate venue here and there. It was, now in saying that, on some days on the sea days there was the main dining room for lunch.
And we had really good experiences
so that was
there
good
at lunch.
And the last miss was something that we thought was really odd. We went up to the buffet one night just to see what was on the buffet for dinner. We didn't do dinner at the buffet, but we were curious to see what that looked like. And we were a little surprised to see almost all of the things that were on the buffet at dinner were the same as lunch.
Right. So if you're a person that doesn't like to go to the main dining room and you just eat at the buffet throughout the whole cruise, then food could be a challenge for you because the same options for lunch were identical for what the options were in the dinner in the one night that we looked at it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we expected to see something similar from the main dining room menu. There was nothing similar at all. So yeah, so those were the two things that were a little bit off by the food. But overall, the food is bad. Was that true or false?
No, that was false.
I would agree that was false. So that's the first thing. So the next thing that we had heard from people was that on an MSC cruise, they kind of nickel and dime you to death with all kinds of different upcharges.
Right. And so what we found in our experience was there is a fee if you want to go on the water slides. There is a fee if you want to play in the bowling alley. There is a fee if you want to have gelato. There is a fee if you want to go to their chocolate cafe restaurant. There is a fee for...
If you want to do the F1 racing simulators, a fee. I think there was also a 3D experience that was an extra fee.
Right. They do offer, like Princess Cruises, the little medallion that you can wear in a wristband. There is a fee if you want to get that.
Yeah, so there was a lot of little fees, and there was also additional fees, of course, for stuff you have on other ships, which is specialty dining, but the fees for that were pretty expensive, and you didn't get access to the entire menu. There was a select menu if you bought a special dining package, and you had to choose off of that. Now, if you did a la carte, or you just chose one restaurant and went there, you had the whole menu if you paid full price. But if you bought their little extra packages...
Yeah, they had like 2-night packages and different packages, but in our experience, they were the most expensive specialty dining that we've ever encountered. So we opted not to do it just because it was extremely expensive.
Yeah, so there was a lot of little fees here and there around the ship. We had a successful cruise and avoided them.
Right.
We didn't have a lot of extra fees because we simply didn't do those things.
Right.
But yeah, you have to be mindful that there is that. So that, does MSC have a lot of nickel and diming on the cruise? Is that a true or false?
That would be true, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a true statement.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we heard is that there is going to be a lot of announcements in a lot of different languages that are going to be constantly going overhead.
And we expected that. We know we were on a European-based cruise line, and so generally a lot of Europeans will come over to Florida and cruise with them. But we didn't find that to be the case. There was never any announcements in another language.
No, there wasn't. Yeah, we cruised in Europe last year, and we were on a cruise that had 3 different languages all the time, so we were kind of prepared.
Yeah, we expected that.
And we thought we were going into that situation because we'd heard other people that have cruised with MSC in North America even that had gone through that in the past. But that must be something they changed because we did not find that was the case.
It was only English on the overhead announcements.
Yes, our cruise director was from South Africa with a bit of an English accent, and it was just one language, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but so is that true that multiple languages are going to be announced on our cruise? I say that is false, that was not the case. It was just in English the whole time we were on the cruise.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we heard is that the entertainment was going to be different because they try to do it in a way that it accommodates multiple languages.
Right, so we were told you wouldn't hear a lot of people singing songs that we know, English speaking songs, because of the international crowd and that sort of thing. But I didn't find that to be the case. We were in the main theater every night for their shows. They had phenomenal shows. They had amazing, talented singers that sang songs that we have heard our whole lives.
In English?
In English, yes.
Yes. And I guess the little bit of a miss there with the entertainment was that around the ship, when you would go to a lounge or main atrium and there'd be a musician playing, a lot of times they were doing just musicals. They were just playing in the instrument and there was no singing until sometimes the last song or two they would actually sing. Mm-hmm. And we'd be thinking, oh wow, they're really good singers. Let's see if we can find them elsewhere on the ship and listen to them sing. They would play somewhere else and they would, again, just play instruments most of their set.
Yeah, it's true.
So that was a little bit of a miss. That was kind of
different.
That was odd. That was kind of more like we kind of expected going into it. But the main theater was definitely full-on normal big stage shows. Mm-hmm. Another thing that was odd about the entertainment was the scheduling of the entertainment. Mm-hmm. We would look at the program of what was going on that evening. It would say that there's a venue and it would say 6 o'clock on. It would list 3 or 4 groups, but it wouldn't tell you what time they're playing. And we had a tough time trying to hit the right venue at the right time for the right group to be able to kind of do our lounge thing.
Yeah, it's true.
So that was kind of a miss on the entertainment. And again, not sure if that's just specific to this MSC ship or whether that's kind of how they do it on all their ships.
Right.
But there was entertainment, but they did do a lot of musical stuff around the ship with a little bit of vocals. One kind of bonus note to this is that there was one singer that only sang once in a while here and there in the atrium. And she did a show in the main theater on the last day, and it was phenomenal. And we really saw how well they could sing. So we kind of were hoping they were going to sing a little bit more after we heard the quality of the singers that were on board.
That's true.
So what do you think? Is that a true or a false that the entertainment is different than what we typically expect?
I'm really torn with this one because the main theater shows were as good a quality and can stand up against any cruise line theater shows I've ever been to. So for me, for that part, I would say it's a false.
It's a false. And I'd say I'm going to go with true.
Right.
Only because around the ship where I kind of like the lounge music and do that type of thing in the evening, that's where it was a little bit different than what I was used to. So I'm going to say there was something off there, that there was something to that statement that the entertainment was a little different.
Yeah.
Just not in the main theaters.
No, I get your point. I agree too.
So one thing that we heard from people, and a lot of people said this to us and had us excited, was that Ocean Cay is a fantastic private island.
Yes.
And we were there for 2 days, so we had a chance to really check it out.
Yes, we had the opportunity to have an itinerary where we got to spend the night at dock in Ocean Cay, and so that for us was a unique experience, being at a private island all night and into the next day.
I wasn't really sure what people were getting as to why it was good. We heard there was a lighthouse and a lighthouse show, so that did happen, and there was a big beach party that goes with that. We didn't really think about, but that was an exciting thing to do and see.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
But the number of beaches and opportunities to have places to hang out and swim and relax around the island was really interesting, because there were so many beaches that faced different directions. It didn't matter which way the waves were coming that day. The wind was coming. There was a lagoon that was separate from the ocean if the ocean itself was too rough. There were so many options. And of course there was, lots of bars and activities on the island that way.
And your drink package is included on the island, whereas a lot of private islands, or I shouldn't say a lot, but some private islands with different cruise lines, that isn't the case. So that was a nice bonus for sure. And in our experience, it seemed like there was multiple places where you could use that drink package. There was bars set up all over the place.
Yeah, I'd say the only miss on the private island was that the food quality wasn't as good as it was on the ship.
I would agree with you with that.
So the food was a little bit off. It was a little, it was just kind of a buffet with a few options. So that wasn't as good as some other private islands. But all in all, the whole private island experience I thought was really good.
Yeah, I would say the island is beautiful. The swimming was wonderful. I loved the different options of going from beach to beach if you wanted to. It didn't feel like you were in this huge, overwhelming, big space, because you could sort of have some privacy with all the different beaches around. So there was lots of privacy, lots of shade, because there was beautiful palm trees everywhere. We didn't use an umbrella, we used palm trees, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah. So overall, I guess, is it true or false that the Ocean Key is a wonderful private island?
I would say definitely true. I loved it. Can't wait to get back at that private island.
I'm going true on that one. And we do this on all the cruise ships, but we heard that the muster drill was just a nightmare.
Yes, I've heard people say that they were stuck in the stairways for forever trying to get to their muster drill and get back to their cabin and all that sort of thing, and to expect to be stuck in huge crowds for the muster drill.
Yes, we had heard that there was a strange procedure where you had to dial a number that was revealed during a video that you watched, and everybody was trying to dial a number and then jam the hallways to get to their station all at the same time. We had heard, and we visualized it being a mess based on what we had heard.
Yes.
But when it all happened, we were really amazed at how efficient it was and how smoothly it went.
It happened very smoothly for us. We watched the video. Everybody has to be back in the room, I believe, at 4 o'clock. The captain comes on, makes an announcement, the video starts playing, and then after you've watched the video, then you're asked to go and check in at your muster drill station. So when we walked down the hallways, we walked down the staircase, tapped our card. There might have been 3 or 4 people in front of us that we had to wait to get their card tapped, which took seconds, not even. And we tapped and went back up the stairs, and there was no congestion for us.
No, and I guess maybe a lot of people delayed coming down to their muster station, that you had to type in the number. Nothing really happened to acknowledge that you typed the number, and you just typed it in. It stayed on your phone display. We left at that point thinking we did that part. We're not sure what else there is other than go. And I think we were one of the earlier ones. When we were coming back, I saw a lot more people starting to come out of their cabins and down the hallways. So maybe the tip on that one is, if when you do it, get that number, put it in, go down right away, and you're going to miss any of the crowds. So,
Yeah,
but
we found it was one of the quicker muster stations we've had.
So basically, true or false, is the muster drill on MSC a nightmare like we heard?
No, false. Not a nightmare.
That's false for sure. It was as good as any other cruise, if not a little bit better for us.
Yeah, for sure.
So the next one is, one of the things that we love about cruises is that the staff are so friendly and they make you feel like family when you're on board, and we always love that about cruising. We had heard about MSC that was not the case, that they weren't as friendly.
That's true. We were told that they seem to be less staff per guest compared to most cruise lines, and therefore the staff are so busy that they don't have time to be friendly or smile or say hello or any of those sort of things. So we thought, okay, well, we'll see. And that really wasn't our experience whatsoever. We met some wonderful staff, from waitresses that served us at cocktail lounges, to our head waiter and assistant waiter, to crew all over the ship, whether that be at the spa check-in desk, to wherever we encountered people. We had wonderful interactions and never had one negative issue with any staff.
Nope, for sure. When we first arrived in our cabin, there was a couple things that we had made a list of that we wanted to talk to our room steward about just to get clarified.
Oh, yeah.
He came in, before we could even say those things to him, he saw the list on the table and said, "Oh, is this for me?" And we were kind of embarrassed a little bit, like, "Yeah, that's..." And he read that, he says, "Yep, no problem, I can do that for you."
Within seconds, minutes, he was back at our cabin with things that I requested, like extra hangers and stuff like that. He couldn't have been better.
Yep.
And he came and cleaned our room twice a day. A lot of cruise lines
Yep.
don't even do that. So when they talk about staff shortages and they're understaffed, we didn't see that at all with MSC. We had our room cleaned twice a day. We couldn't leave our cabin without seeing staff cleaning the common areas, and I'm meaning the handrails into the atrium and those sort of areas. Amazing how hard the staff was working and how nice and kind they were.
Yeah, from the waiters to the bar staff, everybody was friendly, and we made some good friends with the staff there and saw the same people over and over again, and they were happy to see us with a smile on their face. And yeah, it was sad. It was like other cruises where we're getting off the ship, sad to say goodbye to these people that were so wonderful to us.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, true or false? The staff on MSC less friendly than other cruise lines?
False.
That's a false for sure. Mm-hmm. So one thing that we were excited about, that we heard about MSC ships, especially the new ones, is that they were modern, they were beautiful, they had lots of deck space, and we wanted to check that out for ourselves.
Yes, and we found that to be very much the case. The staircase, the atrium area, absolutely gorgeous with the Swarovski crystals throughout the grand staircases. Aesthetically pleasing for sure.
Yeah, this ship was built kind of on the idea of kind of like a Miami theme, kind of a Miami skyline type of feel to it, and it was themed about all different things at Miami, the South Beach and everything else. So yeah, it was true to that theme, as well as it was beautiful. It was modern and well kept, and when it comes to deck space,
yeah,
we never ever, we only had 2 sea days, but both sea days, that's usually a good test for how busy the deck space is. We never had a problem finding a chair on the ship, even though parts of the deck are marked off for different classes of cabins.
Yeah.
We still had no problem finding deck chairs for that we could go to, that we didn't have to pay any extra or have any extra type of privilege to be able to get them.
That's true.
So yeah, and keep in mind that we were on there with over 4,000 people, more than we've ever been on, and we did not feel the traffic, the people at all. That they were always well spread out around the ship, that they had events going on in different parts of the ship that would naturally spread people out. And we never ever felt the crowds at all, and that was one of our concerns with this size of a ship.
Right.
But all in all, how the ship performed and how it worked in its design was fantastic.
Well, I think even, talking about deck space, I want to mention about at the nighttime, they used that deck space outside so well. I mean, you're in the Caribbean, it's nice and warm, it's beautiful. There were deck parties, there were activities out on deck every night that we participated in. And that just helped too,
Yep.
not make the whole ship feel crowded, because a lot of people were outside at dance parties. We did silent disco outside, so much fun, all of that kind of thing. So yeah, use of the ship and the functionality of it was bang on, I think.
Yeah. So I guess true or false, is the ship modern, beautiful, good deck space?
Yes, true.
Yes, that's a true. That definitely was. It was a beautiful ship.
For sure.
So the next thing we heard was that our luggage might not get there till later in the afternoon, maybe even the evening after dinner time. And so we kind of prepared and planned for that with making sure we were ready to have an outfit ready to go.
Yeah, we brought a carry-on with us because we were afraid we weren't going to get our luggage, our checked luggage, in a timely manner, because we had been warned by other people that had been their experience. So we showed up at the port at 10:30 in the morning, just because we thought we needed to be there a little early to deal with an issue with my name and all of that sort of thing. But anyways, at 10:30, there was a lady, a porter, that took our luggage, and she said to me as I was giving her the bag, she said, "I'll have your luggage at your cabin within the hour." And I just sort of laughed and said, "Okay," and and walked away. Didn't think that would be reality. Never has been in the past in our experience.
And so we get on the ship. First of all, we were surprised when they said that, guess what, your cabins are ready. And this was before lunchtime, and the cabins are ready. So, let's go to our cabin. Let's check that out and see what we can drop off here and get rid of some of the carry-ons that we had.
Right. 11:15 was
11:15.
the timeline.
And we show up to our cabin, and what do we find?
our luggage was waiting at our door for us.
All of our checked luggage was...
So from curbside to our room, it was less than 45 minutes. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah, for sure the earliest we've ever had luggage on a ship that we've checked.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So yeah, and that was nice. We were able to get unpacked and we were able to start our vacation early without having to wait in the evening for all that to show up. It was already there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, true or false that you have to wait possibly till the evening to get your luggage?
False for us.
Definitely a big false. This was completely the opposite experience for us, yes.
Right.
So on this cruise, we had the easy drink package, and we told people that. We heard some rumors that we might run into some congestion at the bars. One common phrase was, when you do finally get a bartender or get served, get 2 drinks at a time, because you're not sure if you'll be able to get another one by the time that one runs out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought that was going to have to be a strategy that we used, but we had no issues getting drinks at all. We found that there was multiple staff ready to serve you, whether that was you walking up to the bar or whether that was sitting in the lounge and having waitresses or waiters come and take your order.
Yeah, we often found that there was more staff available than there was people that needed service. That there was you always see a waitress walking around, you can see her kind of head on a swivel to see if anybody needed any service, and having to go back to the bar and do something else because nobody needed anything, because there was so many staff that were taking care of people.
Right.
So you'd walk up to the bar and it'd rarely be just a couple of minutes at most, and usually it was immediately, that a bartender would come over and say, "What can I do for you?"
Yeah, and not only was it that you got your drink in a timely manner, but they would show up with bowls of chips or bowls of peanuts. They had bar snacks all the time.
Yes, bar snacks always wins me over.
Yeah, that was a lovely bonus, especially because our dining time was a little bit later than what we're used to. So it was nice to go for a pre-dinner drink and have a little bowl of potato chips before your dinner.
Yeah, we saw no evidence of the staff shortages or lack of servers available. And even to extend that into the dining room, our service was very quick and very efficient in the dining room as well, that our wait staff was fantastic.
Yes, we
And I felt like we didn't wait for anything on the cruise ship. And again, going back to our concerns that this is the cruise ship with the most people we've ever been on, and the service was at that level, that really impressed us, and it really stuck and was one of the shocks for us.
for sure.
So, what do you think? True or false that you have to wait a long time to get a drink on an MSC ship?
False.
Yeah, not for us. It was false.
The other thing I'll say about that is when they do their outdoor deck parties and that sort of thing, and there's one bar out there, they would also do these little pop-up bars, and they would have bartenders with a cart full of everything. They could make anything. Like, I thought maybe they would just offer beer or wine at these places, but I went up to them and I asked him what he could make, and he said, whatever you want. And I was able to get a mojito from a cart. So that was great. It helped with the congestion, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was well thought out, and the service was fantastic on MSC when it came to bar service. So no concerns at all with our drink package. Yeah. So that was one of the main concerns that we had going in on this cruise. And I guess the big question everybody wants to know is, will you cruise on MSC again? True or false? Is MSC cruise worth the value?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe yes.
True. We will definitely go on MSC again.
Yeah.
That the price point is fantastic. The level of service was equivalent to what we've seen in other cruise ships, and the ship itself was well laid out, and we never felt the crowds. So it was kind of the best of all those worlds for us.
We really had a wonderful time for our first MSC experience.
Yeah, there was a few head scratchers when it came to stuff like entertainment that we were trying to navigate and figure out. But yeah, all in all, it was a positive cruise experience that we would do again. So hopefully you get a chance to try them one day too.
For sure.
So thank you for watching, and if you haven't already seen it, you can go back and find our MSC vlog series and see how this cruise played out hour by hour, day by day,
Yes.
and see for yourself what it is that we went through when we were on the seaside. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye for now.
Bye everybody.